walk us through some of your you know what I mean, like Fab's greatest hits. You know what I mean? Because you got a lot of them. You know what I mean? Like
Soul Tape was a run for me though, Chad.
Right.
Soul Tape. That's what we was talking about with the transition of the kind of music that you do based on whether, the season that you in at that time. You know what I'm saying? Soul Tape came to me at a time where I wanted to talk a little bit more, but I also wanted to talk over those soul samples because it gave you the platform to really talk. You know what I'm saying? A lot of like club stuff or like, you know what I mean? It's not really about what you're talking. It's about just making something that people could vibe to and club and party to. So Soul Tape came at a time where I was kind of like, yo, man, it's time for niggas to like sit down and listen to some shit. Like, you know what I mean? And really talk to them. So that's where I was at probably in 2011. And I had already probably been in the game at 10 years at that point. I had did the commercial thing. I had the female hits and, had the R&B remixes and had all that. But at that point, I was ready to like, let me talk to y'all for a minute. That's where the Soul Tape came about.
You know what I'm saying? Like Breathe, you know what I'm saying, was one of them ones, you know what I mean?
Breathe was another one in that situation too. Right. Breathe came after
was that your beat originally?
Yeah, how did that not survive? I want to use that word, but how the fuck did Breathe? Like at the time, we talking about like where the industry was at, the sound was at.
It wasn't the thing.
It wasn't the thing at that point.
Trying to like shift a little bit, but it also for me, I had like So Into You with the Tamia Ashanti joint. I had Can't Let You Go. I had a bunch. I had Traded All with the Jagged Edge. I had a bunch of the female friendly radio cuts. At that time too, radio was dominant by you had to make those kind of songs to be on radio.
100%.
So at that time I had a bunch of those and I was kind of like, man, I gotta go back a little bit. Like that's where Breathe came from because I was like, I'm going too far one way and it might get to a point where people don't even know that you even rap.
Yeah, they gonna keep you
sense, or don't, you know what I mean? Or don't even put you in that category. So that's how we did Breathe. I got with Just Blaze. And the crazy part about Just Blaze, he's a producer that does, at that time too, does everything from Breathe to Can't Let You Go. Like people didn't even know that he did Can't Let You Go, but but you heard Breathe and you heard all the sample stuff that he was doing for Hove, and that kind of goes together. But he had some like girl joints and stuff that he did as well. So Just Blaze came in with Breathe. We knocked that out. And I was, kind of like telling people for the next project, I want Breathe to be the next thing. And my label still was a little bit iffy on it because they just knew the history of what the other female records did. And I think they kind of like, they put another record out to kind of test it first ahead of Breathe. And I still wasn't with it. I was like, man, y'all kind of like going against me. I really want to go with the Breathe joint. And they ended up pushing Breathe out and Breathe started responding more. And then they pulled back from, what was the record at that time? Was it Baby? It might have been Baby or something like that. But whatever it was, they let it be what it was, but just now push the push on Breathe. And Breathe ended up, and even at that time, like Breathe became like number one on 106 in Park and stuff like that. But that wasn't even that kind of joint. That wasn't a 106 in Park. 106 in Park, if I gotta explain, it was like Bow Wow and like, the girlfriend. Like that was that kind of, Breathe wasn't the type of song that was supposed to be number one up there or in that fashion. So when it started doing well, I was just, kind of like at the same time banking on just some true hip hop, but also just not letting, my career go too far in one direction and not sticking to what, I actually do.
Did you feel it with that? Okay. Did you feel a way? What mode you was in with There's No Competition?
There's no competition. I was like
fuck everybody.
Went back to everybody.
Like fuck everybody.
Mixtape shit.
Okay.
Like,
the
label shit. Fuck all of it. Like, you know what I mean? That's really where I was at right there. Like I didn't even like
give a fuck.
Yeah, I didn't. It was because also too there was a mixtape culture at that time.
Yes.
There was like that whole like Dat Piff and wherever you got the tapes from, whether it was even in the streets, the mixtape culture was.
Sammy's on Fordham.
I want to almost say like it was so big. It was
everything though.
It was so it grew so big that it was like kind of more appreciated than albums at one point. Yeah. The mixtape little circuit, you know what I'm saying? When Wayne was dropping the dedications and all that, and you know what I mean? Like it was a lot of mixtape series that was bubbling that everybody was listening to in those times, you know what I'm saying? And even the mixtape DJs, the dramas, whoever was putting out tapes, they was thriving too because the mixtape scene was exploding,